Are you really thinking about running for president? Is this something you think?
Listen, I have no choice because I've had elected officials, and I'm not going to give their names, elected officials coming up to me. I've had folks who are pundits come up to me. I've had folks that got a lot of money, billionaires and others, that have talked to me about exploratory committees and things of that nature. I'm not a politician. I've never had a desire to be a politician.
Stephen A. Smith, a man who signed for 5 years and $100 million with ESPN, has been playing up this line once more.
ESPN must either silence its top figure, Stephen A. Smith, or fire Stephen A. Smith. Once upon a time, a long time ago, you could be on one television channel talking benignly about good old sports, while you were also on another television channel talking about party politics, partisanship, and even endorsing one presidential candidate over another. A long time ago.
Keith Olbermann, a former host at ESPN, who came up when SportsCenter was new, despises the idea.
But here's the reality. People have walked up to me, including my own pastor, for crying out loud, who has said to me, you don't know what God has planned for you. At least show the respect to the people who believe in you, who respect you, who believe that you can make a difference in this country, to leave the door open for any possibilities 2 to 3 years down the line. And that's what I've decided to do.
It's giving very Trump vibes of, I get stopped all the time and people say, sir, you're the best. Sir, you must participate. We need you, regardless.
Know this because I used to do it a long time ago. A long time ago, like 2010. But this is no longer 2010. So why is ESPN letting Stephen A. Smith go on Fox News and campaign for Donald Trump? They either have to silence him or they have to get rid of him.
Well, obviously, we knew that would never happen. Thus,
whether it's Westmore, Governor Westmore, who I know, or Governor Josh Shapiro from Pennsylvania, who I know, Andrew Cuomo, who I had the pleasure of interviewing, who's trying to get back in things, to be the next mayor of New York, etc. I see a lot of people that obviously and clearly are more qualified than me. But in the same breath, when you think about what Trump is getting away with, when you think about what you brought up about Steve Bannon, who's trying to be slick because he's looking at a non-political individual like myself, looking at me as a populist, but you better be careful what you ask for.
So this is where we stand. He saw this interview with Jonathan Karl where Smith teased a run once again and wrote, please somebody tell Stephen A. Smith they've been supporting this openly and loudly since 2023. He's literally 2 years behind the news here and is of no use at all on this topic. He's not debating an idiot like Chris Russo here.
I did see some snippets from his interview on This Week on ABC when he says that like several billionaires and politicians have come to him and said, you should run. I'm skeptical. I'm not calling Stephen A. a liar. I am skeptical, and I would love to know who are these people that are saying, Stephen A. Smith, you should run for president?
Hey guys, quick break in the action. I have a new show coming out called The Rick Strom Show. It is going to be awesome. I'm interviewing musicians, athletes, producers, writers, journalists, authors, sports doctors. Go check it out at youtube.com/@TheRickStromShow. Also be sure to throw me a follow on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky. It can all be found in the description box below. Thank you. Olbermann would follow that up with this message. You want to see him suddenly discover the choice? Just tell Stephen A. Smith that he'd have to give up the job and the salary to even try this, and you'll never hear him mention it again.
Given, to be honest, the money that's in politics, I mean, he probably could, let's be real, he probably could make more money.
Yep.
Doing the political thing than he could when he's at ESPN, which I know sounds probably bizarre when, you're on a $100 million contract. But when you look at the amount of money, if it is true that these billionaires have approached it, well, if somebody's going to fund this campaign where, you could get 200 or 300 million people to pour money into it, hey, I can see why somebody might look at politics as a come up.
According to Open Secrets, this is Nancy Pelosi's net worth. Mind you, this is a sitting member of Congress, not some executive at a big-time tech company. To be clear, the come-up model in politics is, to some extent, and mostly bipartisan. Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene's net worth per Quiver Quantitative is over $22 million. When she began her career in this field as a MAGA loyalist, she was worth less than $1 million. Pablo Torre, host of Pablo Torre Finds Out, commissioned a Rasmussen poll which asked 1,000 voters on Stephen A. Smith running for president. Here were their results. Kamala Harris came in at 45%, Stephen A. Smith 24%. New York Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez 32%, Stephen A. 28%. California Governor Gavin Newsom 31%, Smith only behind by 3 points, 28%. And J.D. Vance at 38%, Stephen A. Smith 4 points behind at 34%. They conclude that the pollster stated, quote, based on what I see in these numbers, he, as in Smith, should run for the presidency of the United States.
I just think this idea that this is an idea that we should treat with a level of seriousness. I think a lot of that, when you look at the coverage that this has generated, and again, I feel terrible because I'm probably part of the problem, and feel free people to call me a hypocrite, but that this wound up being kind of legitimized by This Week on ABC is again kind of how we got to where we're in right now.
Hey, I appreciate you watching. Now, if you can, please do become a channel member by going to youtube.com/TYT Sports and clicking the join button. If that's too much for you, you can just go to tyt.com/join to become a member. It helps all of us out here at the Young Turks and keeps our network afloat. In addition, you could follow me on my socials on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate the love. Have a great day.